Hey everyone, welcome today. Today we're tackling something really important, alcoholic liver disease. We're going to break down exactly what alcohol does to one of the most vital organs in your body. So let's just dive right in. Okay, so here's how we're going to walk through this. First up, we'll get to know the liver itself, your body's hardest worker for sure. Then we'll see what happens when it comes under attack. We'll look at the ripple effects that spread through your whole body. And then we'll get really specific. What does too much alcohol actually mean? After that, we'll talk about the path to recovery, and we'll wrap things up with a simple health checklist you can take away. All right, let's kick things off with section 1, meet your hardest worker. And we are, of course, talking about your liver. This thing is an absolute powerhouse, and it's working nonstop inside you every single day, whether you think about it or not. So let's start with a question that, honestly, most of us probably don't think about very often. What does your liver actually do? I mean, really. Because if you don't know what it does, it's hard to grasp just how much is on the line when it gets damaged. Okay, think of your liver as this incredible all-in-one factory for your body. I mean, it's wild. It's your main filtration system, constantly cleaning toxins, like alcohol, out of your blood. At the same time, it's making something called bile to help you digest your food. It's also like your body's personal battery, storing up energy for when you need it. And on top of all that, it's manufacturing crucial proteins for things like blood clotting and fighting off infections. It's doing all of this all at once, 24/7. And that brings us right to alcoholic liver disease, or ALD. See, ALD is basically what happens when that amazing factory gets completely overwhelmed. Every single time you have a drink, your liver has to stop what it's doing and focus all its energy on processing that alcohol, because to your body, it's a poison. In the process of breaking it down, well, that creates even more toxic stuff, which directly injures and, yep, even kills your liver cells. So in this next section, we're going to see how that damage actually happens. It's not like a switch flips overnight. It's more like a slow-motion attack that happens in 3 very distinct stages. The damage really builds up in 3 main phases. First, you have what's called fatty liver. If things keep going, that can turn into alcoholic hepatitis. And that can lead to the final and most serious stage, which is cirrhosis. Let's break down what each of these really means. Okay, stage 1, fatty liver. Now, why fatty? Well, when your liver is so busy dealing with alcohol, it can't process fats properly. So what happens? The fat just builds up inside the liver cells. And here's the really tricky part. This stage is often totally silent. You might not feel a single thing. But, and this is so important, at this stage, the damage is 100% reversible. If you stop drinking, your liver has this amazing ability to heal itself and get back to normal. But if the heavy drinking doesn't stop, you can move into stage 2, alcoholic hepatitis. You know, anytime you see that itis on the end of a word, it means inflammation. And that's exactly what's happening. The liver is now swollen, irritated. It's your body's alarm bell going off, signaling a serious injury. This is usually when symptoms start to show up. Things like nausea, stomach pain, feeling exhausted, and jaundice, which is when your skin and eyes start to turn yellow. In bad cases, this can be incredibly dangerous and even life-threatening. And that brings us to stage 3, cirrhosis. This is the end game. What's happening here is that the liver has been so damaged for so long that it starts replacing its healthy, functioning tissue with permanent scar tissue. But that scar tissue is useless. It can't do any of the liver's vital jobs. It's like trying to patch a hole in a boat with cardboard. And when your liver stops working properly, you see these devastating complications. Fluid building up in your body, confusion because toxins are reaching your brain, and a much, much higher risk of bleeding and infections. So this slide right here, this is the critical turning point. Think of it like a fork in the road. On one path, you have fatty liver, which is reversible. There's a way back to a healthy liver. But on the other path is cirrhosis, and that damage is largely irreversible. You can't undo the scarring. At that point, it's not about healing anymore. It's just about trying to slow down the damage. It's a really profound and life-changing difference. Okay, so for this next section, we're going to zoom out a bit, because while the liver takes the main hit, the damage from heavy drinking creates this huge ripple effect that spreads through your entire body. It is never, ever just about one organ. And wow, these ripples are serious. Alcohol messes with your brain, right? Your judgment, your coordination. It hurts your heart, driving up your blood pressure. It weakens your immune system, making you an easier target for all kinds of sicknesses.
It also significantly bumps up your risk for a bunch of different cancers, not just liver, but mouth, breast, and it can really mess with any medications you're taking, making them either useless or even dangerous. The impact is truly body-wide.
All right, so all of this brings us to a super important question. We've been using this phrase, too much alcohol, but what does that actually mean? In real numbers? In this next section, we're going to define exactly that. So, health experts have some pretty clear guidelines on what they call risky drinking. This is the point where the health risks really start to climb. For women, it's defined as more than one standard drink a day. For men, it's more than two. And look, these aren't just random numbers. They're based on real physiological differences like body size and how our bodies produce the enzymes that break down alcohol. Okay, but what in the world is a standard drink? This is so important because it's not just one glass. A standard drink is a very specific amount of alcohol. It's about a 330 milliliter bottle of beer. It's a 150 milliliter glass of wine. That's a pretty small glass. Or it's a 45 milliliter shot of spirits like vodka or whiskey. You know that big, generous glass of wine you might get at a restaurant? That could easily count as 2 standard drinks, not one. And here's the number that ties it all together, 14 grams. Every one of those standard drinks we just talked about has about 14 grams of pure alcohol. That is the dose your liver is forced to deal with. Remember, it's the alcohol itself, not the type of drink that causes the damage. Okay, after hearing all of that, I know it can feel pretty heavy. But this next section is all about the solution. It's about the path to recovery. And the biggest message I want you to take away from this is that there is absolutely positively hope. I mean, taking action makes a huge real-world difference. We already saw how stopping drinking can completely reverse a fatty liver. And even just cutting back on heavy drinking drastically lowers your risk of getting to those scarier stages, like hepatitis and cirrhosis. And it's not just about your liver. Your whole body benefits, from a stronger immune system to a lower cancer risk. It's a win-win. All right, to bring it all home, let's just boil everything down into a final health checklist. Just 3 simple rules to keep in your back pocket. Rule number 1, and this is the big one. There is no guaranteed safe level of alcohol. It just doesn't exist. The science is pretty clear on this. The guiding principle is really simple. Less is always better. Number 2, it's not just how much you drink, but how you drink. Things like binge drinking, that's having a lot of alcohol in a short amount of time, or just consistently heavy drinking day after day. Both of those patterns put a massive amount of stress on your liver and can seriously fast-track the damage. And the last one, if you already have any kind of liver issue, the game completely changes. Your liver is already working at a disadvantage, so even small amounts of alcohol that might be considered moderate for other people can be enough to make things much worse. And that leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to take with you. Knowing everything we've talked about, the risks, but also the incredible power of the body to heal, the question really is a personal one for all of us. Is it time to rethink your drink? Thanks so much.